Good evening. Welcome to the latest live show from Last Bell Boxing. Post-fight reaction from Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor, which was an absolutely brilliant fight as we expected. Joined as always by regulars Daz.
All right, mate. You all right, mate?
Very good. And co-host Carl. How are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. All right, thank you.
Enjoy the show, lads?
Yeah, I thought it was a good show.
Yeah,
right.
I'll be honest, I've not seen it.
Yeah. No worries, mate. No worries, mate. We all have to go out on the lash at some point or another, don't we?
Let's keep Mrs. Sweet, don't we?
Right, straight into it. Anyone in this sidebar, by the way, that's watching tonight, if you want to come and join us on screen, you're more than welcome. Carl will drop the link in the sidebar shortly. If you just want to post comments in the side as we're going along, we'll read them out and react to what you say. Also, if there's any topics, we're going through this card tonight, and we'll probably touch on Devin Haney, Lomachenko. But if there's anything else that you want to bring up and you want to talk about, by all means do, and we'll go through them as well. Straight into it then, Carl. We'll start off with the first fight on the main card tonight. Thomas Carty against Jay McFarlane for the Celtic heavyweight title. Firstly, I'll come to you first, Carl. Do you think the fight was stopped too early?
No. I thought McFarlane was unraveling.
He looked like he was done. Probably wasn't very fit, if we're being completely honest. But I think it was stopped a bit too early because he was still swinging when he went down.
It was. Yeah, I mean, I just think it was. There's levels, isn't there? I'm not saying.
I understand what you're saying, but he didn't seem that hurt, Carl.
Well, I thought the stoppage was okay. He was getting battered in there, to be honest. So I didn't think it was early, to be honest. I thought the stoppage was okay. And in terms of Thomas,
difficult on a couple of rounds to judge, but has Thomas Carty got anything to scare any heavyweights?
Well, I think McFarlane's got a tendency of making anyone look like a world beater. So I'd just pause. I mean, Carty's still got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So I just think the matchmaking needs to be right with Carty and get him the experience that he needs to start working his way up through the levels. Don't rush him. He's obviously a ready-made fan base there in Ireland and crying out on to get behind the fighters and get some big nights in Dublin. So Eddie just needs to take his time and just plot his learning fights.
Well, seeing as though you've said that, I'll make a comment. The two big fighters that are going to headline any sort of shows in Ireland have just both lost.
Yeah. So there's a gap, isn't there?
You know, does that scupper any further potential shows short term? I mean, Katie Taylor could go on and fight Serrano if she don't take the rematch straight away, and that they could make that in Ireland. But surely Cully's got a rebuild now.
Yeah.
We'll come on. Sorry, we'll come on to that. I digress a little bit. Daz, you mentioned on the show on Thursday that Jay McFarlane's the kindest way to put it is he's not always 100% committed.
Yeah. I think that's obvious for everyone to see.
I don't want to put anyone down that gets in the ring, mate. They've got my respect. I'm sure, though, he's going to come away from tonight thinking, yeah, that was a chance missed.
I don't think he will.
No.
I think he'll just carry on doing what he's doing. I mean, we was at Ultimate Boxer with Mark Bennett, and Mark got to the final, and Mark drew Jay in the first round. And Jay totally surprised Mark, totally surprised us in corner. And if I'm being honest, I mean, Mark got the decision, but it was like he lost the first, won the second, the third was close, so could have gone probably either way. But I remember talking to Jay after, And, you know, I said to him, listen, I says, you know, you totally surprised me, mate. You know, we are good you were. I says, you know, I watched some of your fights and saw how you boxed, and I thought, but you know, you've got something about you.
Yeah.
Jay's answer were, oh, you know, I appreciate that, mate. He says, but it's just the training, isn't it? And I went, well, yeah, I mean, it's a major part. He went, I just can't be off sometimes.
Oh dear.
You know, and that was like, he said that to me, and it was like, I went, well, you know, if you ever do decide to train, I think you could actually, you know, be quite an handful. I don't think he's not even an heavyweight, mate. He's not even a natural heavyweight.
No.
I think, you know, if you got him fit as a cruiser, mate, it'd be an handful.
Yeah.
It really would be an handful. And it's not often I say that. Do you know what I mean? I you know, I'm very realistic, but you know what I mean. I think by all accounts, he's had a bit of a colourful life. You know, he's had a bit of a tough life from things I've heard. And
how many fighters down the years can you say that about, though?
Yeah, mate. Listen, it's about breaking the cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, do what is best for you. I mean, I think he spent a bit of time with Dave Allen. He was, you know, being with Dave Allen a bit in Doncaster, and I believe he got stabbed. He got him sent in bother and got stabbed or carjacked or something. It just seems to be trouble follows him, or he gets him sent. It's either that, mate, or he makes bad choices.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of two things. He's either very unlucky or he makes bad choices. But I'll tell you what, I'll be totally honest with you. As a trainer, if Jay McFarlane rang me tomorrow and said, right, tell you what, you've said I can do this, I'll give you 100%. Let's see what we can do. I'd take him on in an heartbeat.
Yeah.
I really would. But would he disappear in a month or two? Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. As a coach, do you really want to be putting the effort in with somebody that isn't you're not 100% sure is going to give you 100%?
If you don't take a chance on somebody, you'll never know.
True.
You know what? If you don't take a chance, then you know they aren't going to do it, are they?
Yeah, I get your point.
You know, it's a frustrating one, really. Do you know what I mean? It really is. It's a very
you can't give someone commitment either, though. You can't learn someone that, can you, Daz? You're either committed or they're not.
No, definitely not, mate. And do you know what the sad thing is? Jay will probably realise this too late.
When it's gone.
When it's gone. You know, at minute, I believe he's still quite young. You know, he's not, you know, I don't think he's old, and you know, he's still quite young. He's not an heavyweight. He's not an heavyweight.
He can't keep taking shots like that, though, can he?
No, I've not watched it, mate, so I can't really.
Right, well, it's quite. He took some heavy shots in that fight, and he has in previous fights, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he had a big war with Mark in Ultimate Boxer, and Mark, you know, he took some big shots off Mark. So if that's out to goodbye, you know, he's not an heavyweight. So is that gonna do more damage? The hardest part about Jay's career, if he decided to take it serious, would be getting that weight off. Yeah. You know, that'd probably be the hardest part. But it's a shame. It really is. This bit, like Andy says, we can say that about quite a few fighters.
You can indeed. Okay, moving swiftly on then, guys. Kevin Agyarko, Grant Dennis. We expected this was going to be a decent fight. Ended up being a decent fight. Carl, break down the fight for me. Kevin come into this with a really good reputation. Obviously, he's been out a while with that hand injury. Everyone's expecting massive things from him. What did you think?
I thought he made hard work of it.
Yeah.
I thought if he'd have kept it at range, it would have coasted. He obviously wanted to get rounds in the bank, didn't he? Because he's come off that hand injury. But my I mean, I put in my notes, round 7, he had a particular good round. But I just thought Yarko made very hard work of it. And I wasn't overly impressed with the performance, Andy, if I'm honest with you. Granted, he's had 10 months out of the ring and you got to take that into account. But if he's talking about going up the levels in middleweight, he's got, he's got to play to his attributes. I'm sure Dad will say, as a coach, you play to your attributes, don't you? If you're better at range, you keep at range.
Stay there.
I thought he got dragged into a dogfight a little bit. It was reminiscent of I know they sparred a lot, but it was reminiscent of a spar, wasn't it, at times?
It kind of stunk a little bit, Carl, of two fighters that really knew each other quite well, and they were kind of nullifying each other's work a little bit.
And then it said it all at the end, Andy, because Dennis looked like he was really happy to hear the final bell, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a tough night. He had a tough night, Dennis. He didn't help himself. He didn't help himself. I think it was Darren Barker in commentary that was saying, why is he constantly
moving left,
moving onto that right hand?
Yeah,
he was that. Agyarko was landing the right hand at will. Why didn't he change his angles? Why didn't he step to the opposite side a little bit? And he might have had a bit more luck that way. I mean, but that's not just for the fighter. That's for the team in the corner.
I wonder whether the atmosphere got to him. I know he's a Belfast lad, isn't he, from memory? I think he's a Belfast lad.
Yes, he is. Agyarko, yeah.
I think the atmosphere might have got to him a little bit, but I guess I'm really, really trying to make a bit of an excuse for him there, because I thought it was a bang average performance, and if he's starting to talk about headlining his own shows in Belfast, well, Eddie Hearn's already said it. He needs to be his dance partner will need to be a big name. What his performances have got to improve, haven't they, to get anywhere near the top end of that middle.
Yeah, I'm prepared to give him a little bit of slack because of the time he's had out of the ring. There's always going to be that when you're coming off an hand injury like he had. There's always going to be that little bit of worry, even though you've done lots of sparring and lots of training. There's always going to be that little worry in there when you put them 10-ounce gloves on. How's my hand going to react? So I don't know. Maybe you give him a little bit of slack for that.
But he won every round saying that. He won every round saying that. So I guess, I don't know. You got the rounds in the bank if you want to take a positive from it.
Okay. Swiftly moving on then. To a fight, I'm still scratching my head a little bit about how this fight played out, to be honest. Dennis Hogan, JJ Metcalf. Again, Carl, I'll come to you as Daz hasn't seen the fight. I'll come to you. Dennis Hogan is one of these fighters that looks really, really bad. He looks like he can't fight, but clearly he can. His style is so strange. It's so disjointed. It's really, really green to the sport, and he's never been in. I mean, he's had 40 fights. Yeah,
he just ain't that good, is it? Let's be honest.
Say again.
He just ain't that good, and neither is Metcalf. I thought it was two fighters that are definitely limited, because Hogan was blowing one tail. Let's have it right towards the championship round. Hogan was spent.
Well, that's one thing you can't say about JJ Metcalf is one of the fittest boxers on the
planet. I can and I will. I think he's limited. I'd expect him to have got him out of there towards the 10th, 11th, 12th. Hogan's nowhere near anywhere. He's nowhere near the top of that division. So if you talk about Metcalf getting up towards a European world title shot, he's got to. I think he's very fit as an individual. Clearly, he's got the fitness, but has he got the boxing ability? That's what
I think you're being a little bit hard, mate.
No, I thought Hogan would bang average tonight. I thought he was there for the taking.
It's like I say though, that's the deceiving thing, because he's been in with some real quality, mate, and done a
He
very
got
good job.
beat. We
And
got beat.
he might have got beat, but he hadn't disgraced himself.
But there was all very one-sided fights, though, against when he jumped in with the higher end of that division. So I'm
But
not
he
sure where it leaves Metcalf.
But he didn't disgrace himself, though, mate. Is the point I'm making? But like I said, he looks when you watch him, he looks like he's not a boxer. If that makes sense. Do you understand what I'm saying, Daz?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I think
His boxing style. It's not like
it's a bit disjointed.
very. And you know when you teach somebody basics,
Yeah,
dance, the way they throw shots, he just doesn't look like a boxer.
yeah. I mean,
And
sometimes that can work in people's favour.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's what I was just about to say. And because of that, JJ was missing lots.
But
and I think it was about the tempo and about the way that Hogan was going about his business.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, if you fight somebody like that, it can sort of throw you off, I suppose. But if you've got good fundamentals and you stick to your fundamentals, then you should really 9 times out of 10 come out on top.
Yeah.
There's obviously exceptions, where people are a little bit disjointed, but it works for them and they still go to that top level. I mean, I'll be honest, I think I've seen Hogan a couple of times, I believe, but he never really leaves a lasting impression. Beat signs of it. I think when I watch the fight tomorrow, I'm probably going to be a bit disappointed in JJ's performance because JJ's shown some decent stuff to me, even in defeat against Cheeseman. Things that he could have gone away and built and learnt from and built on. But it sounds like in this fight, he's just not really, pushed on it.
Well, the performance he put in Spain against was it
Laraga? Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Even in defeat to Cheeseman, there were positives, that he could have took away, and then you'd have thought, like Carl said. To be fair, the performance he's putting in against Laraga. If obviously, like I say, I've not watched the fight, but if Hogan's blowing from the 9th, 10th onwards, JJ should really be taking him out.
He gets spitting his gum shield out, does, and we all know what that is. That's to buy himself a few seconds.
Yeah, is that Hogan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that just says he's knackered.
Yeah.
Jump on him, but
and that he started doing that in his 6th round, does.
Bloody hell! I mean, that's early.
So I'd have expected, like I say, Metcalf to have got him out of there.
Yeah. JJ just couldn't land clean, mate. He did land. He did land. He landed some really big shots, and Dennis Hogan took them.
Is he a big puncher? Is he a big power puncher?
Maybe not. Maybe not. But he'd land a real big shot, but then he couldn't land clean following it up.
I mean, I don't listen. The different fighters. I mean, they are different fighters, I suppose. But if you look at JJ's dad, he weren't really a big hitter. He wore you down, work rate, fitness. So, is his son at the end of the day. Maybe it's a little bit in DNA. Maybe he's not the biggest of punchers, but it's a bit harsh judging him on his dad, I suppose. But it's like if you're going to go to that next, I mean, he's world champion now, I believe.
IBO, yeah.
IBO, he's still a world champion. So, what does he do now?
Yeah, so Metcalf's got 25 wins and 15 by KO.
Yeah, I mean, that would suggest he's got a decent dig, but you'd have to sort of look at the opposition, wouldn't you?
Right. Swiftly moving on to what can only be classed as quite a big shock in the way it went down. Gary Cully against Jose Felix Jr. We were all talking about how good we think Cully has been, how dangerous he is at the weight, the quality of his left hand and his speed, and then it all gets unravelled. He gets tagged really early and doesn't recover. Carl, do you think he fought the wrong fight?
I'd say into it on the back of it. Was it third round he got
Third
took
round.
out? Which one?
Third round.
Yeah, third round. So difficult to say into it on the back of 3 rounds. You know what the game plan was. He looked all right to me. He just got caught. I thought he was very sloppy, to be honest.
But he didn't use his attributes, did he? He's about 6 foot taller than this guy, this Mexican he's in with. Why not keep him on the end of your jab?
That's something right. Like we always say, this is the best opponent he's been in with.
Yeah.
So it might be a case that he couldn't get them shots off.
He was getting his shots off though. The problem is he was
But
standing.
Not 20 note, was it? It wasn't.
Well,
Normally he wasn't 20 note.
He was getting his shots. He was getting his shots off though. But he wasn't. What he wasn't doing is he wasn't getting out of range. Because when you're as big as he is, with the levers he's got, Felix shouldn't have got anywhere near him with that right hook.
I honestly think that he thought he could walk through this guy. It was a very strange performance by Gary Cully. Very young. Was it the atmosphere again? I know I keep saying that, but it was a very partisan atmosphere.
It's why
he's trying too hard, Carl.
It's why I always say, fight for yourself, not the crowd.
Yeah.
I just think I think he definitely comes again. When his loss doesn't define a career, I think he would have learned a lot by this defeat because he's had everything his own way all his career up to now, hasn't he? Banging people out, Eddie Hearn telling him that he's going to be headlining shows in the near future. Maybe this is a wake-up call.
Well, Eddie Hearn even come out the other day and says Gary Cully will be a world champion at lightweight.
I mean, to be fair, he's stepped up. This is his step up, innit?
Yeah.
And he's come up short. I mean,
and that's what I mean about the game plan, Dad. What's the old saying? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, I mean, I would like. I mean, obviously, I'll watch it tomorrow. But I think to me saying, this guy probably bit sounds of it deserved a bit more respect than Cully gave him.
The worrying thing was he just couldn't recover. Yeah. He like Bambi on ice.
This kid can punch.
Yeah.
30 KOs in 39 wins. This kid can bang.
I mean, you look at you said it yourself, Cole. Gary Cully's had it all his own way.
Yeah.
No one's landed on him. And then he goes in against an absolute killer, really. Was it 30 knockouts in 39 wins?
Yeah, 30 KOs in 39 wins.
That's crazy punch power.
Yeah. Do you know the thing
at that weight as well? At that weight,
the only people that have beat him are the ones who got on the bike and just outboxed him. And I'm a bit perplexed because, like you say, Cully's got them long levers.
Why did you
kept him on the end of the jab all night?
Do you know? I watched the weigh-in. No, that's some mail, please. I watched the weigh-in, and Felix just looked at home.
Yeah,
looked at home, and to me,
he reminded me of Dad.
Laurie, yeah. To me, I'd have been like this if I were Gary Cully's trainer. I'd have been saying, "Listen, let's just stick." I mean, I presume the game plan would have been
jab,
sure. Jab, everything off the jab, movement.
I think so.
Change your angles. So I'd have been saying, listen, let's stick to that. You know what I mean? But obviously, that's not what happened.
He's
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
not
that's
happened because he was in range too long, mate.
when,
Chin up
when
in
I,
the air, not thinking about his defense one little bit, and that obviously smacks of somebody that thinks they ain't got anything to worry about, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, excuse me eating, guys. I'm a bit
No, you're
hungry.
got the munchies.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Anything
But
nice? What are you eating?
Sweet potato fries.
Oh, nice.
He reminded me of Lara in the way, like I say, he looked very at home, and he looked like he just didn't give a F where he was, didn't
Yeah.
he? Kid, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I've had a. I mean, it's funny that really that conversation about he didn't really give a shit where he were. He felt at home because I've had that conversation today with somebody, a very Crawford Ashley basically, who was like British European, fought for world title twice, I believe Crawford, and I've had his son on pads today. And me and Crawford were talking, and he said the exact same thing. He told me some quite good stories actually, and he said that I was comfortable being in there. That was my home.
Yeah,
and that's why I never got flustered. And that's exactly what Felix were like. Do you know what I mean? He looked like that was his house, that was his home. He was as comfortable getting in there, I suppose, as going into his front room.
it's about
And
time
it's
you start bringing these Mexicans over into it.
No,
Well,
because
it's their golden ticket, isn't it? They come from abject poverty, so it's their golden ticket, isn't it?
if Cully's going to be a world champion, he should be beating Felix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and maybe 5 or 6 fights down the line might have been a better time to fight somebody like that.
Then
Hindsight's a great thing.
Yeah,
it is.
Then if that's the case, then the matchmaker should be looked at.
Yeah,
but Cully, like Carl said, and he's had everything his own way. To to me, like I said, I've not watched it, but had he stuck to what his strengths were, maybe we'd be talking about a Cully late stoppage or points win.
Yeah,
because Cully's got power himself, Auntie. He definitely fought the wrong fight.
Yeah.
He's got to be looking at his team there, and or looking at himself if he's not followed the game plan that his team set out for him.
Yeah, I mean, you can take an horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
He may be just guilty of getting caught up in the moment and thinking he needs, because of, with Terry Harper dropping out, the Terry Harper fight dropping out.
That was interesting.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. He then gets pushed into. I mean, I think he was going to be co-main anyway, but the pressure's on a bit more into it when the next biggest fight on the card gets pulled. All of a sudden, your fight becomes that much more important in the big scheme of things of the night. So maybe the pressure got ramped up on him a little bit more in them last few hours. You just don't know, do you?
But either way, he was fighting on that card. He was fighting in front of that crowd, whether he was on first to last or second to last. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's like,
I don't mean it changed anything because Terry Harper's not exactly local, is she? And neither is Brackett is. So, I think it wouldn't have changed in terms of what the pressure is on Gary Cully.
Just trying to, I suppose I'm just trying to give him a little bit of a way out, for maybe why he performed the way he did. Because he's looked devastating, hasn't he? In recent performances.
Yeah, it's that old chestnut, isn't it? It's that old chestnut about when they start stepping up through the levels.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how he reacts and what happens next with who they bring in for him. He's obviously got to come back down a level, get his confidence back, get maybe another win, and then try again. Maybe it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Gary Cully goes, "What? We'll have Felix again. Let's have him again straight away, and prove that I just did it wrong." Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, it'd say a lot about his character.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah.
did that.
Okay. Disappointing. Terry Harper, Cecilia Brackhouse didn't happen. By all accounts, they only found out about it this morning. Brackhouse woke up and couldn't get out of bed. She got a really bad case of the flu. And how I've felt over the last couple of weeks, I know exactly how the girl feels because.
Oh, not all about you, Andy. Moving on.
No, I'm just saying, mate. I've had it, so I mean, I couldn't get out of bed to let my dog out the door, mate. So she's going to get out of bed and fight 10 rounds against somebody of Terry Harper's quality. You can't blame her for pulling.
The thing is, it was reported today on Twitter. I can't remember who reported it, but said she's woken up with a shocking case of the flu. Now, every time I've had flu, there's a lead up to it. You feel a bit shocking for 2 or 3 days beforehand. And I defended Brackus, to be fair, because someone on Facebook was saying, "Oh yeah, you know this sort of you don't." Yeah, I totally agree. You don't wake up like tonight. I'll wake up in the morning and have flu. It don't happen. You start to gradually feel a bit.
So
sniffles,
bad throat or a bit of a cough, don't you, Bill?
She's probably massive.
I feel like I'm on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, she's probably been off it for the past couple of days and thought,
I'll be all right. I'll get over it.
Let's see how I am. You know, it might not be flu. It might just be a bit run down. Let's see how I am. And then she's obviously woke up this morning, felt shocking, you know, and right call by a team. I don't care how late it is, you know, how much late notice. I would not be sending my fighter into the ring, you know, less than. I mean, listen, you're never 100%, are you? But you know, waking up with flu, can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting it ring. I don't care.
So, I saw a tweet from Steffi Bull.
Yeah, I saw your comment. Yeah, class from
Very
Steffi.
class. Yeah. Absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And says a lot about his character as well as a trainer.
Steffi gets some stick, mate. Steffi gets some stick, you know.
Yeah, he does.
You know, sometimes I think he just does things for a wind up. But he's always been sound with me. He's always been polite and sound when I've ever come across him. He backs his fighter. He's fiercely loyal to his fighters. And what more can you ask?
No,
but his response today were, you know, class. And, you know, to be honest, like, there's been a pull-out with Shannon Courtney. And some of Nina Hughes's team haven't been as classy.
Yeah.
You know, listen, Shannon Courtney's not, you know, I'm not a massive fan of Shannon Courtney. But let's be right. If a doctor said, listen, you know, you need surgery, you know, she's obviously been suffering with her knee. She's gone to the doctor. He said, listen, you need surgery. You're not fit to fight. For whether it's come from Nina Hughes directly, but to say she shit herself is like, you know, come on.
It's not on, is it?
No, it's daft, isn't it?
It's not on. It's not a good look. It's not professional.
No.
Because somewhere down the line, that could come back and bite her. You know, she might get an injury in sparring, and the same thing happened the opposite way round.
Yeah, she's not got an easy replacement in Katie Ely.
No. So Terry Harper is now fighting on next week's show in Manchester, headlined by Lee Wood. In a way, it's maybe better for Terry Harper because the likelihood is now she'll get some support down there, which obviously she wouldn't have had in Ireland or not as much.
Who's she going to fight though?
Well, that's the thing. It's a late replacement, isn't it? So she's kind of on a bit of a eyeing to nothing in many ways.
I mean, who they're going to get?
Because the belt's still going to be on the line.
But
you know, she's still going to be defending the title.
Would it be? I mean, it's like anybody in the top 10 of that division. It's WBA, isn't it? I presume. I believe.
Yeah.
So, anyone in that top 10 who, qualifies for a title shot, it's like you just hit nail on the head. It's an hiding to nothing.
Yeah.
Would it be better to put her in a non-title fight just to give her a run out?
It'd certainly be better to put her in with somebody that is not going to give her as much trouble. Let's say. It's a bit harsh on her to chuck her in with somebody like you say in the top 10 or top 5 that's going to be really dangerous.
But who's going to be?
And she hasn't had a chance to prepare for him. It's not right.
Yeah, and is anybody in the top 5, top 10 going to have been training? Are they going to be fight ready? So, like you said, she's on an hiding to nothing. Is it probably more better to just give her a non-title run out? Give her 8, let her box 8 rounds.
The question was asked whether Brackhouse would be fit for it. There's no way if she has got flu.
No, she's not fit. If she's not fit for today, mate, she's not going to be fit for next week.
No way.
No
way. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure they'll pull somebody out of the bag, mate, and it'll be, in the next couple of days to at least give Terry Harper some sort of notice so she can.
What? Don't be surprised if it's not another British girl.
No, that makes sense, wouldn't it?
I mean, I don't really know who, but I won't be surprised.
It makes sense. It's got to be somebody, like you say, though. It's got to be somebody that's in training, somebody that's already got a fight lined up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just unfortunate. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, it is.
It's not Terry's fault. It's not Cecilia's fault.
You got to feel. I mean, obviously, you feel for Cecilia Brackhouse because she's come all this way over for this fight. But you've got to feel for Terry Harper,
mate. Major. I mean, the thing is, it's not about the money, but they've weighed in, so Terry should still get paid.
Well, that's why they're putting her on the show next week.
Yeah, she should still get paid. And do you know what, mate? Do you know if they pull an opponent in the top 5 who's dangerous? Listen, Terry's never in a million years going to say, "No, listen, I need preparation." That's she's never going to do that.
A coach needs to be doing that.
She's a fighter.
Yeah,
and you'd hope Steffi would do that, maybe, but would he? I don't know, but. It's just a case. Like you said, she's on an island to nothing, really.
Yeah, it's tough for her. But let's see who they pull in. Okay, headlining fight, really, really good fight as we all expected it to be. Wasn't quite as good as the Serrano fight, but in its own way, at times better. Because it was a clash of styles. Chantel Cameron, in my opinion, was absolutely brilliant. Walked Katie Taylor down. Didn't let Katie Taylor get shots off. Landed some brilliant body shots and brilliant uppercuts that took Taylor out of a rhythm. Masterclass game plan from Jamie Moore. Absolutely outstanding. I did get a little bit nervous though because I was scoring the fight, and like I said early on before we went live, if I was being generous, I scored it 6-4, but it could easily have been 7-3 in my opinion. I thought Chantel was that dominant. Some of the commentary tonight, lads, they were willing Katie Taylor to win the fight, and I think that's a bit naughty. But having said that, they were all scoring it fairly fair. Do you know what I mean? They all had it the right way. Even if the commentary wasn't the best when they were talking about, the shot by shot commentary I'm on about here. Cole, firstly, how did you see the fight? And then secondly, what do you do now with Katie Taylor?
I'll answer the second one first. Is only one option, Serrano, for me. There'll be a rematch with Cameron. Will she want it? I don't know. Because for me, I scored it 7-3.
Yeah.
But I thought at times in that fight, Chantel Cameron was proving that she's head and shoulders above Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor having some success in the fight, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to finishing the exchanges, Chantel Cameron was stronger in that division. And she just looked a lot bigger physically. I couldn't believe the difference in stature.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what Chantel Cameron walked in that ring at tonight, because she looked absolutely huge.
Just I don't want to cut you short in mid-flow, Carl. Just want to acknowledge the lads in the sidebar. Good evening, Jack. Good evening, Imran. If you both want to jump on for 10 minutes and we'll talk about this main card, please do. Carl will re-put the link in the sidebar for you, and then he can carry on telling us about his opinion on the
Weird.
on the fight itself.
So that in long and short of it, that's my opinion. I thought Katie Taylor finished quite well, to be honest. She obviously got a second win. She probably proved she's got a little bit more left than I thought she had left.
Yeah.
But she doesn't belong at that high weight. So Chantel Cameron, let's talk about her, because she's boxing royalty now, isn't she?
Carl, I don't want to. But how long have I been saying Chantel Cameron's the best fighter on the planet?
You have, to be fair. Yep, you have. So what I take away from it is Chantel Cameron was a clear winner. I think people won't like this, but she outboxed Katie Taylor at times, and she also outfought Katie Taylor at times. But I do think Katie Taylor finished quite well. But she needs to drop back down and take the Serrano fight. I think Chantel Cameron's Katie Taylor's kryptonite.
So Jack Gladman says he had it 6 rounds to 4. Imran says Carl, you nailed it. Jack Gladman said commentary watched a different fight to me. Completely agree, mate. What? Speak of the devil, here he is. Good evening, Jack. How are you, mate?
Evening. That was a great fight, wasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant. And Imran, how are you, pal?
How's it going? You all right?
Yeah, very good. So, Jack, seeing as though you beat Imran to get on screen first, I'll come to you. Break down the fight for me. How do you think it panned out?
Cameron made Katie box her way. Simple as that. She made Katie box her way. Katie to me didn't get into a rhythm tonight at all, and I think Cameron disrupted that well. I think Moore got the tactics spot on. And I thought I had it 6-4, but I could see it 7-3. I couldn't see it any closer than 6-4.
Yeah. Imran, good evening, mate.
Good evening to you as well. Before I didn't watch the whole card, but I watched the Katie Taylor Cameron fight, and for me it was quite a convincing win for Cameron. I knew she was going to beat Taylor. To be honest with you, I knew about Cameron about 6 years ago. I used to go Northampton. I used to work in a private school 6 years ago. And I had a lad come and tell me 6 years ago who actually used to train in a boxing gym with Chantel Cameron. And he said to me 6 years ago that Chantel Cameron is going to be the next big thing in female boxing. And at the time, I was like, I didn't really know who she was. I did a little bit of research. I was like, oh, she can actually fight a little bit. But at the time, she was still coming up. She was still green.
Yeah.
But that performance there was of a performance where I don't even think she's hit her full potential yet. I think she's going to get even better. I think she's going to get even better. I think she is without doubt in, like, I'm not going to say she's better than Clarissa Shields at the minute, but I think she's our best fighter she beat Taylor easily. She outboxed her. Her footwork was better. She used her range. She got in and out quicker. Taylor underestimated her. Taylor thought her style of the pity pat shots, get in and out, pick her off. Cameron was too clever. She was too big. She was too strong. Her footwork was too fast. Right? She controlled it. Yeah, it was a brilliant performance, and I think no point of doing the rematch. Cameron will bust her up even more in the rematch. She's too big. She's too strong. Taylor's too small. And her punches are, like I said, even little girl, even the smaller weights, even as Serrano was walking through Taylor's shot. So how is she gonna be able to, she can't, in my opinion, she can't really put a dent in Cameron. Cameron just walked forward. She was on the back foot and she was getting bullied. And I don't think Katie Taylor's I don't think she's physically that strong. If you look at her fights with Bassoon, if you look at her fights with Serrano, she gets bullied in fights. And this is a very, very good fighter. That's not just a big fighter. No, she didn't win. She was big. She was fundamentally very good. Taylor might have the pedigree. Taylor might have the Olympic background, but Cameron is also fundamentally very sound. Taylor has no shot in the rematch against her. I'm sorry.
Well said, mate. And I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think Katie Taylor at times showed the class. She came back when she looked like she was taking a beating, but it was very one-sided. I completely agree. Me and Cole both had it 7-3. Jack had it 6-4. How did you score it, Imran?
I had it 7-3. We were actually in a group amongst friends, and we were actually scoring it. And I had the fight 7-3 as well. Like I said, 7-3. I had it 7-3. I think I gave the second last round to Taylor. 7-3. It was quite conclusive in Cameron's favor.
I mean, you've got to give a bit of a shout out to Jamie Moore here, haven't you? The game plan was perfect.
Yeah, to be fair, like I said, I you know what I was worried about, and I know we shouldn't be really talking about this. I was worried that Cameron would get robbed. I didn't think she'd get the decision. I'll be honest with you. I've stopped thinking that Taylor could ever lose a fight because I just thought that I think she's always going to get the decision. So the fact that she's gone to her backyard and beat her, right? Of course, you got to give Jamie Moore. Jamie Moore's been with Chantel Cameron for ages, right? Like I said, he's been with her for such a long time, and she's a really, really good fighter. He's driving
a Ferrari, though, isn't he?
Who? Jamie Moore?
Yeah. You know, in terms of the fighter.
The expression, I know what he means.
Yeah, another way, he's got a very good fighter that he's working with. Sorry, man.
Yeah. All right, I thought you meant he was actually driving a Ferrari.
I mean, he might be, but he might well be after tonight, to be fair. But just on what Imran said about the getting robbed, I don't know if Daz had this thought because we've both been around boxing and been at enough shows to see it happen. As soon as it went to the scorecards, I just went, oh, if they rob Chantel here, and I was on a call with my mate, and I said, if they rob Chantel here, you're going to see me lose it. And he went, I thought you liked Taylor. I went, yeah, but not like this. They can't do her like this.
I actually said on Thursday it'll be a draw.
When that first scorecard was read out, I thought, oh no, not again.
I said it'll be a draw. I've said to Nicola all week, I can see Chantel getting stiffed, being a draw, being a quite close-ish fight, but being a draw. But I've said in previous weeks that Chantel Cameron wins. You know, my boxing head says Chantel Cameron wins. She's too big, too clever.
I put a tweet out seconds after the final bell and said, judges do the right thing.
I saw that. And you said what everyone was thinking.
The thing is, Jack, we've had it too much in recent times in boxing. Too much where, I mean, Jamie Moore's had it, hasn't he? You know, shocking decision up in Scotland. And I'm sure he was stood there thinking, oh no, not again. When that first card came out.
Well, Chantel Cameron alluded to it, didn't she, in the post-fight press conference?
Interesting, wasn't it, Cole, that when they went to Katie Taylor and she was asked whether she thought she'd won the fight, she didn't give an answer.
Yeah, I thought it was very classy, to be honest.
It was very classy, but also I think that probably shows deep down she knows she lost.
I mean, there's a comment in sidebar saying,
answer it, Daz, because I didn't want to read it out. I'm a bit disgusted with it, to be honest.
I don't quite get what does he mean. If he's still here, can you just explain what you mean? I mean, if you like,
let's read it out, Daz. He's put, finally, the Taylor media hyped women's trash boxing can come to a dead end outside of Ebony Bridges, of course.
Right. So I don't get that.
He's basically saying that Taylor's trash and it's all hype.
Right. Obviously.
Well, we got a walk around in that was Gatty Ward-esque, which was ridiculous. Like,
I mean, what does he mean outside of Ebony Bridges, though? What does that mean?
Well, he thinks that she's trash as well. That's what he's saying.
Well, listen.
No, I think he's saying outside of her. So
Yeah.
No, he likes her. He's saying he likes her.
Yeah, I agree, man. Everything apart from Ebony Bridges is he's basically saying.
Listen, whatever his opinion is of Ebony, all right, and this goes for anybody. You know, I've spoke to Ebony. Ebony's, as you know, Ebony's really good friends with Nicola.
Yeah.
I've spoke to Ebony. So outside of boxing, couldn't wish to meet a nicer lady, to be fair. Clever businesswoman. But I'll tell you something, she's fucking tough.
Yeah.
You know,
Look at the state of that eye in that fight, Chad.
Mate, listen, I've said to Nicola, I says, you know, when she had that injury, when she fought, and I saw the fight, I thought, before the injury, I thought, the weigh-in, and then I thought, here we go, another one getting on telly because, you know, what she's got, what assets. But listen, you don't fight with an injury like that if you've not got something inside you.
Wasn't it the last 3 rounds she fought with that close guy?
Yeah, mate, listen, that woman is tough. That woman has got heart. That woman can fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I just want to go back to his comment about Katie Taylor because...
Well, do you know what, mate?
We're talking about a woman here that is almost single-handedly dragged.
I wouldn't even acknowledge it.
Well, I am, Daz, because I'm pissed off with it.
Yeah, it's obviously he's obviously bored, sat at home bored, and thinks I'll have a bit of a reaction, get an argument. I mean, listen, I don't know the guy, and most of the time I've seen the comments I've seen of people in the sidebar on this show are generally knowledgeable, but that comment deserves this response, mate. You're talking like an absolute shithouse. You know,
I mean,
you made yourself look an idiot.
I'd like to see him go in some rounds with some of the pro females and see how long you last.
Yeah, your audio is playing up again.
Hang on. Let me go and get headphones.
Carl, do you want to comment? Do you want to answer that comment, or you're not?
Oh, I don't want to give it credibility, if I'm honest. So
no, it's bollocks, mate. It's like, come on. I mean,
he don't deserve a response in my view.
No. It's like, you know, yeah, all right.
And just moving on quickly while we got Imran on. Imran, what's your predictions for Wood Lara next week? We may as well go there.
I don't know. Probably Lara again, to be honest. I think Wood's the better boxer, but I just don't know whether he can
stay out of range.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know. He's a good boxer. I think he's the better boxer out of the two, but can he do it for 12 rounds? It's difficult. So I don't know. I think Tony Bellew alluded it to on air today that I think he's kind of swaying towards Lara as well. That's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know, because I was impressed with Wood, and I like Wood actually, but I just think that Lara's a beast. So I don't know. I'm just a bit confused with that one. I do think Wood could win, but I think the smart money would probably be on Lara, just because I'm not sure Wood can keep out of trouble for 12 rounds. And I think that guy just needs to connect once and it could be over.
I watched that fight back because obviously me and Andy were there. I watched it back yesterday. Yeah. It was an heavy knockdown, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was heavy. Horrible. It was heavy.
Yeah, and definitely 100% the right decision by Ben Davison as well.
Correct.
Yeah, on the night, I didn't think it was.
No, it were.
I didn't think it was. But having watched it back,
I think that may have ended his career if he didn't throw that towel in, because,
if he'd have took another one of those when he wasn't in control of his defense, could have ended very badly. That.
Yeah, so props to Ben Davison.
While we're on, and
Say
we've
it,
obviously we've discussed Lara and Wood.
Yeah.
I can't not discuss the Maisie Rose Courtney situation.
Right, I'll ask you about this off camera, but
Right.
God.
No. Let's discuss it on camera because I'll and it's only fair. I think obviously, listen, Nicola's my fighter. I back Nicola to the hill.
Yeah.
And you know, I truly believe in what she can achieve, what she can do, what she's about. So, you know, I don't mind keeping it quick, but I feel like I've got to say, you know, there's a lot of people who listen. She's been signed by Matchroom, right? Maisie Rose. She's actually mentioned Nicola's name. Once again tonight, somebody's basically said Nicola v Maisie Rose for flyweight or super flyweight British title, and all this. My opinion, and I'm obviously Kevin Mitchell had said the same thing about Maisie Rose. Listen, Jack, was it you who told me Kate Radomska turned Nicola down?
Come on, Jack.
Because I mentioned
I didn't tell you that, but I did know that had happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the other matchmaker, wasn't it? Well, I won't name, but yeah, Kate Radomska was.
No, that had happened. Yes.
Yeah, I basically put Kate Radomska's name forward to fight Nick. Kate Radomska turned it down. Now, my point of this is, you know, from what I've heard of what happened tonight, that I don't care who you are, you as a super flyweight female, you can't let Nicola Oatwell hit you at will, right? And Maisie Rose gets hit. Do you know what I mean? So for me, Nicola, I'm not saying she'd stop her, but Nicola would beat her fairly handily. You know, if any of you guys have seen Maisie Rose fight, if any of you have seen Nicola fight, I welcome your opinion.
I've seen both, but again, I'm.
Carl, do me a favour. Carl, do me a favour. Kick this idiot out the sidebar.
Right, I'm not looking at those comments, so you can ping it. But I'm a bit biased. I get on with Nick. I don't know Maisie.
Well, from what you've seen, from what you've seen.
From what I've seen, I agree with you. Maisie gets hit too much to fight Nicola. And when people were brought it up tonight about the British title thing, I didn't bite on it because I know that's what people. I know if I comment or you comment, immediately people will take it as, "Oh, we're looking for the fight." I'm looking to make that fight, or you're looking to make that fight. It's what it is. If that fight's going to happen, and I do think it will down the line, then it will happen. But at the moment, I don't see that fight making sense.
No, do you know my point with it?
Side.
My point with it is and this is what riled me a little bit on Twitter is you got these boxing journalists saying, basic. I mean, put Yimmy on if I'm a sim. Let's chat.
Yeah, let's see if he's
basically you've got, you know, you've got people saying Maisie Rose with a convincing win. She won by a round.
I don't think it was that convincing.
But she won by a round. I mean,
listen, because I didn't see it live.
No, I mean, listen, judges sometimes can get fights wrong. We all know this. You know, Nicola beat Bukra El Kwasi by 2 on the scorecards. To me, she won 4 rounds easily. So I understand that the judges can sometimes, but listen, everyone was saying Maisie were getting it with everything. She's far too wide open. So, you know, give me your opinion. Tell me what you think. Carl, start with you. I'll take the lead. Carl, go on.
About what?
Maisie Rose v Nicola.
I think Nicola will beat her, and I don't blow smoke me.
No.
And
Listen, that's why I'm asking you. None of you do. None of you do. That's why I'm
I
asking
think
you.
I think she beats her convincingly as well. I've said on previous shows I'm not overly impressed with Maisie. So yeah, I think Nicola would probably beat her on points. Does wide points decision.
And
Plain and simple, Nicola stops her. Maisie Rose is wide open. She don't get me wrong, mate. I don't want to disrespect her. She did a lot in the amateurs. She won some really good stuff in the amateurs.
but she never. Do you know what? She was a five-time national champion, right? As a junior,
Yeah,
not as a senior.
but she
Yeah.
As
the
a
way she
junior.
fights, the way she's fighting as a pro, she's very, very open, Daz.
Wide
Nick
open.
punches too hard to allow for her to allow to be so open. And everyone's going to say, because people that watch this show, mate, they'll know that we've had Nick on the show a number of times. They'll know that that I've always backed her from the very beginning, and I've done that because I see the talent. And since you've taken her, that's just gone through the
She's
roof.
gone downhill.
Yeah.
She's gone
That's
back.
that's just gone through the roof, Daz.
She's gone
What
back.
you've done is you've sharpened them tools and added to her arsenal. If Maisie thinks that Nicola's the same fighter that fought her in the amateurs, even though Nicola won that fight, Maisie thinks she won the fight. If she's got the confidence thinking that Nicola's that same fighter, she's in for a bit of a scary night.
I mean, I've had the discussion with Nicola over the fight, and Nicola said, she came flying at me, and I just, punched her more than she punched me, and she went, "That's just how it were." The point was as well, what I said to Nick, I said, was she 5-time national champion? And Nick says, I think she was as a junior, yeah. I think she was 5-time national champion.
I don't think she ever won the title as a senior.
No, but this is my point. And do you know what, mate? Fair play. You've still got to win them national titles, whether you're a junior or not.
Yeah,
by the way. Let's have it right. Right. Nicola had 16 fights and lost on a split decision to Lisa Whiteside, who had like nearly 70. Right. And listen, if we're talking frank, Nicola was being coached by Nicola was being coached by an absolute clown at the time. So
come on, Dad, don't be getting my channel in trouble.
That is.
I better get the word allegedly in there quick, Dad. Allegedly.
Nicola was allegedly being coached. No, she weren't. She was being coached by an absolute clown. No, allegedly. And it's like
they're the views of Darren Metcalf and not a viewer of the
channel. Yeah, don't get told off. We'll have all all that lot after us.
But to be fair, they're all after me anyway. So
yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, listen, fair dues to me, what she did, but I don't know. I guess it's just a little bit. I think. Listen, let's put a little bit of respect on her. Do you know what I mean? She's, I don't know. It's probably I'm just talking as a bit as a trainer, being a bit emotional towards her. But Imran, have you seen her?
I've seen Nicola fight. Yeah. I haven't seen Maisie. I haven't seen Maisie Rose fight. So I wouldn't be able to give an opinion about who wins that fight. I know so you represent Nicola Hopewell, right?
I train her.
Oh, you train her.
I train her. Yeah.
So is she with Matchroom? She's with Matchroom, isn't she?
She's with nobody, mate. Nicola.
Oh, she's fought on Matchroom shows before.
No,
actually not.
No,
she's never.
She's fought on a Dennis Hobson. She had a pro debut on a Dennis Hobson show at Bramall Lane. She fought Claudia Ferenczi, who had never, pretty much never been stopped. And
just get rid of him.
She weighed in at.
Right, can I actually have a look at these? Because
she weighed in about 9 pound heavier than Nick, and Nick stopped her in 6th round.
I've seen clips on. I think Andy and Carl have put clips of Nicola on the channel before. So that's I've seen her, and also she's been interviewed. They've interviewed her quite a few times, so I've seen her. I've seen her interviews with them as well.
She boxed Bukra El Kwasi in a second fight, and it wasn't a great performance. Wasn't a best performance.
Even Lil Penny's nodding his head, Lord. So even in New Zealand, Nicola Hopewell's getting exposure.
I mean, Lil Penny's going to start the Nicola Hopewell fan club in New Zealand.
I've only been like a main trainer. I've been involved with her since she turned pro, but I've been a main trainer for the last fight for probably about 3 months, maybe 4 months. And she fought a girl called Ivanka Ivanova, who's tough, strong, game.
The stuff that, just to give a bit of an outline to Imran. The stuff that the stuff we've put on the channel before was when she was fighting under the Bieber banner,
under Chris Boyle, the guy's name is.
Yeah, so that was with the previous coach. Honestly, Imran, you need to see when Nick fights next. You need to see the stream because you'll be. I know you know your boxing. You'll see the difference. It's night and day. About the levels that she's fighting at now. And Daz don't he don't like getting credit for what he's done, but it is night and day compared to the way she boxed before. Like I say, he's sharpened the tools and he's added the arsenal. She's a completely different fighter now, dangerous as hell.
He's changed a lot, Dad, hasn't he? Because at one point you wouldn't want to do an interview, and now you can't get him off the camera.
Speaking of interview, I saw a video from DAZN. Yeah, I think it was Barack and that other black guy. I can't remember his name. And one of them mentioned, "Hey, do you know Nicola Hopewell?" And the other guy said, "No, who is she?" So, because I was mentioning to you last month about exposure and stuff. So even though those guys don't know her, it, like I was saying before, like to give her more exposure.
Names get mentioned.
Yeah.
Like I mean, those guys. Yeah, go.
Go on, Jack.
Like the conversations come up about Nicola randomly, like when I've spoken to people at Matchroom. When Joe's spoken to them, I think manager, it does come up, and her name does come up. So that people that need to know at Matchroom do know, but it's just a strange thing because unless you're one of theirs, you go on their show and have to win or put in a good performance to get back on, break in and make yourself known. And I think Nicola, it's not going to be that long before Nicola has broken into one of them.
Here's the thing. Here's a problem about boxing in general. Like obviously with the men's, it's probably they probably get to the top maybe a little bit. It's probably a little easier to get exposure. But for example, look at Chantel Cameron. For example, like I knew about Chantel Cameron 6 years ago, and nobody knew her, and everybody knew that she was a really good fighter back then.
Yeah. But
but it's only now she's going to become a star. But she was a great fighter, and people that knew her, people that knew about her, just like Darren's talking about Nicola. Like there's not many people, a lot of people don't know about Nicola. People around her would know how good she is.
Yeah.
Just the same way people around Chantel Cameron 6 years ago. But how hard was it for Chantel? I'm saying 6 years ago I knew who Chantel Cameron was, but how many people in boxing would have known who Chantel Cameron was? I mean, even hardcore fans might have not known who she was because the lack of exposure.
Yeah.
And this is not right. The thing is, we dwell on one person too much. We dwell on Anthony Joshua. We dwell on Katie Taylor. But Katie Taylor's had a time in the sun now. Now we need to focus on Chantel Cameron. She's had her day in the sun. She's earned her money. She's made a name. She's a star in female. And no one's disrespecting Taylor. She's had a good career. She's had a great career, better career. Maybe Chantel won't have half the career maybe Taylor's had. But the point is that we need to move on from these fighters that are old, that keep getting, I feel like there's so many good fighters in boxing that don't get the opportunity. It happens in men's as well, that don't get the opportunity. How does someone like, for example, Andre not get a big fight? Why is that? I mean, why is that? Why is
that's
there
the
fighters,
system in America is broken though.
Or even here, I mean, there's many fighters that don't get opportunity. What happened to Hosea Burton? What happened to Callum Johnson? What happened to Callum Johnson?
Regarding just Andre, though, there could be an argument where he priced himself out of fights, though.
Yeah, true.
Maybe. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about the system of boxing. Like, you will all agree that Demetrius Andrade was a great talent. He's not a bum. He was a great talent. How did this guy go throughout his whole career without having one elite fight? Fair enough, like, he might have priced himself out as fights, Carl. But how the hell can that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, he was unlucky with the Saunders situation.
Say that again?
Unlucky with the Saunders situation.
Yeah, he was. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I agree with that. But still,
he would have got that fight.
Oh, yeah, he would have got... What I mean is, but even then, that's one fight in 6... He's been around for ages. Though. Say that again.
Imran, so sorry, just going back to Chantel Cameron. I too did know her 6 years ago because she was always mentioned with, even though they're not in the same weight class, with Ebony Bridges and those girls. They were giving them exposure. But the thing is, at 140... there wasn't really a fighter where she can gain notoriety. She has recently with McCaskill and now with Katie Taylor. But back then at 140, there wasn't really like anyone that's good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think back then 6 years ago or even 5 years ago at her weight class, I don't think like there was a fight where you could say, oh yeah, that's a pretty good matchup between those two. Whereas like McCaskill and Cameron, that was a pretty good fight, man. Like, dude, Chantel Cameron's face after the fight, it looked like it was a pizza. Like, yeah, she won the fight, but man, that was a pretty good fight to me.
Yeah, but she only really started getting the opportunities now. I mean, she wasn't getting the opportunities only now because people started realizing how good she is. But she was always good, but she only got the opportunities. Katie Taylor, for example, she deserved the opportunities because she was an Olympian. And she obviously was a Olympic gold medalist. She deserved the opportunity she got. The point I'm trying to make is there's many fighters that like Chantel Cameron that don't get opportunities, that just go down the wayside. How many? For example, like Darren saying he's training Nicola. We don't know how the career is going to unfold in the sense, is she going to get the opportunities? Is she going to get is the promoters going to back her? These are very important things to get opportunities in boxing. Without promoters backing, without people, the right people backing you can't get...
Nicola at the minute is obviously waiting on some news for a fight, a potentially, big fight. But like sparring wise, she's sharing ring sparring wise with Ebony Jones, an ex-Team GB girl who's a professional, a girl called Ivy Jane Smith who was a Team GB girl. She spars with her gym mate, Amy Greetorex. And we've had a call. She's going to spar with Katie Ely and help prepare Katie Ely for a shot at Nina Hughes.
That'll be interesting.
Why is she a free agent?
You tell me, mate.
Promotionally, not a clue.
She, my opinion of it is because she doesn't talk shit. But
she's too nice. I've seen her interview. She comes across very nice.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, mate, Imran, you ought to see her in ring, mate.
Yeah.
She's a monster. And for someone as how she comes, then do you know what? I think personally, she's more marketable than some of these who just talk rubbish. you know, she's the girl next
Maybe a
door.
PR nightmare, which is probably be helpful for them because, I mean, as good as some fighters are, if they're a PR nightmare,
See what Nicola does.
Clean up.
Yeah, but Jack, there's no such thing as bad PR sometimes,
No.
is there?
What
But-
Nicola does better than a lot of fighters.
Ben.
What Nicola does better than a lot of fighters is she's got a good social media presence already. She's built that up herself. When it's come down to getting sponsorship, when it's come down to selling tickets for her fights, she's done all that herself. You know, she's not had any media trained behind her.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
There's no act.
And
There's
she
no act.
really is, Imran.
Yeah,
she
there's
really
no
is
act.
as genuine as she comes across. She really is.
But if that's the case, how come Matchroom or Frank Warren haven't picked her up? Like, does she want
Frank
to?
Warren don't have female fighters to begin with.
Frank Warren literally picked up Raven, and that's it.
Yeah.
One that I'm surprised hasn't
Yes.
tried anything is
Didn't he have
Vassily.
Nicola Adams as well?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but look how that lasted.
Yeah, well, that's part of the reason he
she
only
got
has
injured. To
Raven
be
at the
fair,
moment.
she got an eye injury, didn't she? To be fair to her.
I mean, I'm at a loss as to why nobody's, picked her up.
Surprises me is
Darren, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, of course,
You know, you said about Ebony Bridges, right? And I agree with you, by the way, that Ebony Bridges is tough. I seen her fight. She's really tough. I mean, she's a warrior. I'll give her that. I think Ebony Bridges is a warrior, and I think she's a really, really tough girl. But do you think that she would be where she is today if she didn't have all the other things that she had? Like, I mean, I still think what I'm trying to say is, what do you think? Do you think her talent matches where she is financially from boxing today? Do you think her talent matches that?
No, you know what? It's a great question, and like, listen, she's best friends with Nicola. They're really close. They're really close. And do you know what, mate? I've got utmost respect for Ebony. I'll answer your question, but I've got utmost respect for Ebony as a fighter because she's got the heart of a lion.
Yeah.
Right. But I also give her massive credit for being a brilliant businesswoman. Massive credit. Because she's very clever. I until recently I thought Ebony was like not even 30, but Ebony's like 36-year-old. I heard her talking. She came to the GBM. Yeah, she came to the GBM press conference that Nicola had for her last fight, and I heard her say, I've probably got another 3 years, and then I'm off. I'm out of it. And I remember saying to Nick, another 3 years? She's only like 30, ain't she? Nick says, no, she's about 36. I went, bloody hell. Very clever woman. Very clever woman. And, she's a fighter. She's tough. She's strong. She punches hard. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say we're all boxing people. She's not the most stylistic boxer, but she uses what tools she's got, which is Art of a Lion, super fit, powerful, and she uses what she's got. And do you know what?
And she can walk forward.
Yeah. Do you know what I give her credit for as well? She uses what she's got out of the ring.
Can I jump in on this?
Yeah, mate, yeah.
So, I think I know where you're coming from, Imran. And you're right in what I think you was trying to say, in that she would not have got the chances on Matchroom that she got if she didn't have the social media presence that she had.
Yeah,
that's what got her foot in the door.
Yeah,
but from that point on, was all her.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't have done what she did in that first fight, where she fought with that closed eye for 3 rounds. If she hadn't have dug in and showed a grit and determination, she wouldn't have got another fight with Eddie Hearn.
Here's a question for you then. Here's a question for you. Does Ebony Bridges prancing around in a bikini at weigh-in cheapen the sport of boxing?
No, it don't make the blindest bit of difference.
No way.
No.
Just a
No.
It don't make
question.
the blindest bit of difference, mate.
No,
Because
no,
it
no,
happens
no.
at every single weigh-in for every single female fighter. Look at UFC girls.
Some
Look
female
at how
fighters
they,
don't
look
like
at how
it.
they weigh in.
well,
Some female fighters don't like it.
I'll answer that, right? And from my opinion, Ebony weighs in a bra and thong, you know, a nice lingerie set, right?
Yeah.
But then if you look at Sandy Ryan had a sports bra and like a thong, like a thongish type thing on when she weighed in.
Yeah.
Now just because it said Nike Pro across Sandy Ryan's, does that mean it's more appropriate?
Yeah, but let's be honest, Dad. Let's be honest. Ebony's acts very different on stage to what Sandy Ryan does. I don't mind it. I'm just trying to play devil's
Listen,
advocate.
what does she do? What does she do different? She smiles.
Come on, the way she acts
Yeah, but-
around Eddie Earn and that.
Yeah, but what are they supposed to
Oh,
wear?
yeah,
Like the men,
but still.
when the men go on the weigh-in, they
I don't-
have underwear as well.
Listen,
So,
I'll tell you even now.
Listen,
right?
I've got no problem with it. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I'm just saying what other female
Same.
fighters have mentioned regarding some of the
Um,
behaviour during weigh-ins.
I think
But
that's
is
probably
that
jealousy.
jealousy though, Carl? Is that just jealousy?
That's
I
jealousy.
don't
yeah.
know. I mean, personally,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
she's
yeah.
more. I think she's more. The marketing she's done is nothing short of extraordinary. She's come from nowhere
Well, it's
to where she
genius.
is.
It's genius.
It's not only genius, right? It's got her to
Devil's
where
advocate here.
she's got herself on the biggest boxing platform with the biggest promoter. Yes, she's done that off of the back of her social media to begin with, but look at where she is now.
I'll
Look
tell
at
you what, right?
what Tibbs has done with her. Look at how she's improved.
Do you know if anyone, right? Do you know if anyone's got, like, whether it's Carl, anyone else, if you've got an opinion of Ebony, if you think, yeah, I don't like, no, I'm not saying you have, but or anyone you know, right, they've got an opinion of Ebony and think, oh, do you know what? She shouldn't be. Yeah, I ain't got time for her. She's this, that, she's this. I'll tell you a little quick story, right? And I witnessed it myself. Nick's pro debut at Bramall Lane. We're in dressing room, and she come in, and there was a lad who used to train at the same gym as us. He's autistic, and he goes through. Went through phases. We went through phase of boxing. He's now into his phase of martial arts, karate. So he got a Cobra Kai t-shirt on. So anyway, he's in dressing room talking to us. Ebony spotted his Cobra Kai t-shirt and went, oh, nice t-shirt. And they got chatting. Now, this kid, like, is autistic and, you know, it can be a bit much sometimes, but he's he's a good kid. And Ebony was chatting away to him because Ebony's got a bit of a martial arts background as well, by all accounts. And she was chatting to him, and they were chatting about karate, Cobra, you know, all sorts. And I counted probably 2 or 3 quite well-known in boxing circles people in that dressing room. Tried to then cut in and get Ebony's attention. And each time she turned and says, just a minute, I'm talking. Says a lot, that.
Yeah.
Says a lot.
She also
I
needs
mean-
to give Shannon Courtney a rematch as well.
Yeah, I mean, that'll probably happen. I mean, I think the plan was that.
If Shannon's not falling apart,
Yeah,
I don't blame Ebony Bridges' response regarding. I think Ebony said something along the lines of, "Shannon needs to bring a belt to the fight."
Yeah.
But she
Yeah,
doesn't have
I
a belt
mean-
either.
Shannon said that herself to Ebony, didn't she? I'm not going to give you a rematch without a belt. So
I mean, listen, the first fight between them was,
It was good.
fairly close as well. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Shannon Courtney
my
rout,
personal
was it?
opinion.
And it stole the show
Opinion on
too.
that.
It wasn't the main event, but that's the fight that everyone remembered. I think it was the Eubank. I can't remember. I think it was the Eubank card.
Ebony came out of that with probably better
Yeah.
credit than what Shannon did for
Yeah.
obviously fighting with that eye injury. You
And
know,
the respect to the British fight fans as well.
But,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Carl, so just going back to your point about the bikini and Victoria's Secret, blah, blah, blah. I think it's on every sport. Like, for example, I remember Anna Kournikova. She wasn't a very good tennis player, but because of her looks and the way she dresses, she was the highest paid female athlete in the world in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, and just to clarify, little Penny, I haven't got one problem with it, one iota. So I quite enjoy Ebony's weigh-ins, but I have heard comments made by other female fighters where whether it's jealousy or what.
I think you know what it is.
I honestly, guys, I honestly believe it's jealousy because
it is,
and you can kind of understand it in a way. If these female fighters that have in their eyes come up the hard way, they've grafted in gyms and they've been on small old shows and they've struggled to get onto main cards. They see Ebony Bridges come in, who has taken a different process to get to that point, and they don't like that process because they don't think she's earned her way. Well,
what people forget,
but
though,
she has
mate,
now, hasn't she? She's proved herself.
Well, listen, what people forget is obviously women, female boxing, it is a lot more fast tracked.
Yeah.
And what they forget is Ebony's fought on small hall shows in Australia.
Yeah.
She's fought on small hall shows. She's had to sell tickets. She's had to fund. She's had to listen. I know for a fact she's had to pay opponents. When she started out, she had to pay opponents out of her own pocket.
And let's have it right. She's travelled halfway around the world, hasn't she?
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. She's uprooted herself from her family and everything to give it a best shot. So, people saying she's not paid her dues. I say, listen, what more does she have to pay?
No, exactly.
Now, if they'd have plucked her out of obscurity, right? What she did in that Shannon Courtney fight, in them last 3 rounds, that's a dues paid. And then
Daniel Dubois didn't do that.
Listen, neither did Joe Joyce. Listen, Ebony's eye injury was worse than Joe Joyce's.
Right, let's finish the show off then, lads.
Admittedly, yeah.
Quick prediction on
Loma. Would say on this.
Go on, Jack. Go on. It does amaze me, Jack, that we've got little Penny on all the way in New Zealand and you're somewhere up north and your audio's awful and he's as clear as a bell.
Yeah, I know. Well, to be fair, we've only just got working electric up here. But
no comment.
One thing I would say is it's very sort of hypocritical to say people came up the hard way and they had and say Ebony didn't, because on the male side, the way I always look at it is Broner never had to come up too much of a hard way because he had Mayweather supporting him from his pro debut. He left Mayweather when he was already a established pro. So
Yeah.
Got it handed to her. So did Broner, but no one's ever going to say that to him.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap the show up now. I'm going to wrap the show up.
Doesn't say Broner. I mean, if you look at most people's opinion about Adrian Broner, they say he's a hype job. They say he's not very. No one really rates Adrian Broner.
Yeah, but no one says he's goes up
against Gavin Rees. I thought he was struggling. I don't think he performed that well against Gavin Rees. I mean, as soon as I seen him perform against Gavin Rees, I was like, this guy's no Mayweather. That was
I'm sure Don King will sort his career out now. Eh? Anyway. Let's finish off with a prediction of Loma versus Haney later on tonight. So let's keep it brief. Let's not give it Andy answer. We're on here till about 4 a.m. So I'll start with Little Penny.
Haney by unanimous decision.
Imran?
Lomachenko. Yeah.
Jack?
Haney wide unanimous decision.
Yes.
I think Haney's going to take a decision, but you know what? After weigh-in shenanigans, I really hope Lomachenko turns him on his head, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'll bit that.
Be funny.
Because I'm sick to death of people acting like absolute prats. You're professional fighters, professional athletes. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't care what level you're at.
Mm.
You know, it
He
happened.
doesn't
other
have a
week.
history of doing that too, Daz.
Well,
No.
it happened the other week with Levi Giles and Michael Gomez Jr.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I have
That
no
one-
idea why
That
he
one
did
was
that.
quite bad as well because Levi ended up on his arse and
Yeah.
could have ended up with an injury.
stop it.
The night before a fight.
Yeah, stop doing it. I mean, do you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll give the prediction. I'll tell you a quick little 30-second story after that puts it into perspective. So whoever else is predicting,
And
I'm going along the same lines as Daz. I initially thought Haney. I still think Haney. My brain says Haney, but my heart wants Lomachenko to lay him out cold because I think he's acting like a real dick.
yeah, I think I'm going to 80 points as well. So we'll finish off with Daz's little 30-second story, and then I'll bring the show
it might be a
to
bit
close.
longer than 30 seconds, but it's not too much.
Daz, you take as long as you like, mate.
No, we basically we were discussing what happened today. We're discussing it with Crawford Ashley. Some of you guys will probably remember Crawford Ashley, British European champion from Leeds. Fought Michael Nunn for world title. You know Crawford Ashley is.
Yeah.
So we're discussing it today. What happened, and he basically told me the story when he fought Michael Nunn in America, and he said everyone will actually get under my skin, and basically Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali's trainer, was to do with Michael Nunn. Basically, tried to get Crawford to cut his own hair, to cut his hair. If you don't know Crawford's a Rastafarian, so it's a religion, basically.
Oh yeah.
And Crawford basically said to him, "Hang on, your guy lost 3 years of his career due to his religion, and you're trying to get me to cut my hair, for religion. What are you playing at?" And he said, "You know what? I had Angelo Dundee up there, and he said when I met him, I thought you're an absolute dick. Do you know what I mean? And it's like he said you." And this is my point. You got to carry. He says you've got to carry yourself with class. It's not. I'm standing in front of fighters at weigh-in, thinking I'm going to push you. I'm going to slap you. Listen, we're going to be punching each other tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like all hard work's done. We're going to be smacking each other tomorrow. So it's like, what? And I just thought, you know what? This is how it should be. This is how it should be. And I'll tell you one other thing, and I've got to say it. I've done a bit of a training session with his son today. Theo Crawford is 21-year-old, 14 stone, and he's had a couple of fights. He had a couple of fights in Bieber, and he's going to have a few amateurs and then go pro with boxing board. He's 14 stone, 21, and I've never felt power like that in my life.
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm telling you and now.
Good then.
Heavyweights on pads, everything. He's stretched ligaments in my hands, in my wrists. That kid.
I can see Jack typing a contract.
Listen.
Jack's thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, you're too late, Jack. Too late. That kid. That kid.
No.
Has got absolutely. Listen, I've never. Obviously, I never felt Gerald McClellan's power, but that kid is like going to be Gerald McClellan-esque with his punch.
Wow.
His dad was a puncher. He probably makes his dad look feather-fisted. That kid is the hardest puncher I have ever taken.
Daz, you've just made him impossible to match on his pro debut.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be turning pro for another year or two, so.
People have forgotten about Daz's little story.
Hopefully this gets buried somewhere.
Yeah, but listen, but when they see him,
this gets buried by then,
and he's knocking people out, you'll be saying, I see what you're on about. The kid it's frightening. Trust me, frightening power.
Just
right. I think that's a perfect.
Oh, just before you do, I know you want to bring the show to them, but just before you do, and I'm not doing this to wind you up neither. I just want to ask Imran one question. He's the only one that's picked Lomachenko. We've never seen Devin Haney act the way he acted in the weigh-in. Does that tell you a lot about his mindset for this fight?
I personally, I was picking Haney. I actually did a prediction picking Haney to win the fight, but after seeing that, I think Haney's lost it. I actually think Lomachenko's in his head, and I think it's dwelling on Devin Haney that he's now gonna get in the ring with Lomachenko. And I don't think Devin Haney's as good as what people make. I think he's a good fighter, but Paulie Malignaggi broke it down. He's pretty basic, and Lomachenko is far from basic. Now, I think if Lomachenko is able to get past his jab and get close to Devin Haney is gonna be he's gonna be. I think he's gonna find it very difficult because Lomachenko at his best is phenomenal fighter. Don't get it twisted. Just because he's lost 2 and he's got 17-2, this man's been fighting world championship level from his second fight, right? So and those defeats that he had, Salido was easily a fight that you could say he won. And the Teofimo Lopez fight was a very, very close fight. And I think he would have beaten Lopez in the rematch. Right?
But Imran, you know, Devin Haney was saying he's basic. I do agree. He's very basic and is fundamentally sound, but his basic is really good. Like he might not be like a Shakur Stevenson per se, where the eyesight will tell him, man, that guy's special. Like, I don't think Devin Haney is special, but it's good enough. Like, he reminds me of like Shane Mosley after the drugs thing.
I do think he's special.
Is he special?
I think he's the best out of that crop.
Think he's better
Really?
than
Devin
Shakur.
Haney?
Yeah.
We'll see tonight.
I would go there. Yeah.
Just a quick question, Carl. Just a quick question. What did you make of Carl Froch's comments about AJ? Have you spoke about that?
What do you think, Imran? What do you think I am? Carl Froch's fan club or something, or spokesperson?
No, but you are a massive fan, so I thought I'd ask you about your opinion about that.
I think Carl Froch is on the biggest wind-up. That's all. He's on a wind-up.
Carl Froch is being Carl Froch. That's the answer.
He's got his new channel, Anti-Froch on Bites. I don't know why I'm plugging his channel on my channel.
Are you saying he did that for attention then?
Yeah, I think he's done it for clicks.
Carl wouldn't do that, surely.
I know. I think the next line was about him fighting at Wembley, wasn't it?
What I do think he's got a point though. I do think Wilder knocks Joshua out, and I do think I don't think Joshua's got. I think Joshua's obviously got a legacy. I mean, that was a bit harsh to say that.
What about the little altercation at ringside tonight?
Oh, the Brooke Ben.
Can we just gloss over it because of Brooke and Ben? Can we just gloss over that because the whole Ben thing?
That was embarrassing actually from Ben, to be honest. I mean, Kel's like retired fighter, and he's just
Ben's not in a very good place at the minute, is he? Obviously,
No.
Kel says he's retired, but then he's also training in the gym, so I can't make his. I don't want to see him come back because I'm a massive Kell Brook fan.
Kel's retired until the money's right.
He's retired until he fights, isn't he?
Yeah. He's retired until the money's right. And the money will be right because he'll fight Ben when Ben gets cleared, if he gets cleared.
There's also just to say there's also the thing now. I mean, I was obviously thinking, who wants to see Kell v Ben? But there's also now the added thing where a lot of people are going to say, well, now Ben's not allegedly, that's for you, Carl, allegedly on the juice. Is he going to be able to cope with Brooke? No, Brooke's got a bit of something left.
Yeah, that trajectory that Andy spoke about has gone a bit like that, hasn't it?
Now Brooke's got nothing left, dude. That Amir Khan fight is that's a bit deceiving.
It's very deceiving.
Brooke's got nothing
left.
Of
course it is. Of course it's deceiving.
He's got nothing left either.
Yeah, no, but it's added the fact of what's happened with Ben has added a bit of interest to it from the point of people saying, well, if he was on the juice when he beat Van Heerden and Algieri, now if he's not on him, then,
it's a dreadful fight.
Yeah, listen, I don't like the fight. I'd like Kell to stay retired. I really would. But to me, all this, like what's happened today at ringside, it just screams of it being staged. And
Pantomime, isn't it?
yeah, and it
That was my first reaction when I watched it.
Yeah, it screams of it being staged
beef.
and because Kell v Ben is going to happen. And
my first thoughts were that I'd see a subtitle underneath saying Jack Gladman Promotions.
I want nothing to do with this fight.
I want to ask you guys, you Brits fans, what's happening with Tyson Fury? Who is he fighting? He's all over the place.
Did I say this ain't going till 4 o'clock? Because we couldn't be here till 4 o'clock talking about Tyson.
Tyson does what Tyson wants to do, doesn't he?
What Tyson wants.
Little Penny, I'll answer it like this. Tyson Fury don't even know what Tyson Fury does.
Well, he's got a number in mind, hasn't he? He wants to hit a number, and obviously he's not hitting that number financially. So he just keeps talking and talking and talking.
What's that
The
number?
problem is, Carl, the problem is if you don't want to fight Usyk, and he's already fought Wilder, he don't seem to want to fight AJ. He's never going to hit them numbers unless he fights inside the ring.
I think he will fight Usyk, but he wants to milk the money.
I think he'd be, let's be
real.
real.
Krasuk's trying to hit a number for Usyk as well.
Yeah, let's be
genuinely
right.
playing the game now.
No, I don't agree with that, Jack. I think Usyk would have fought. I think Usyk would have
Usyk's
fought.
innocent in this.
I think Usyk would have fought him for almost nothing.
No,
because it was all about legacy for Usyk.
No.
Usyk would.
I mean, listen,
I don't think Krasuk will let him.
No, but let's be right. Would we pick Usyk or AJ to beat Fury? I wouldn't personally.
I would put. To be honest, I think the fact that Tyson doesn't want to fight Usyk tells me a lot. And to be honest, I've been saying to, and Carl and me have been going back and forth about a long time with Usyk. He's been saying he's not a heavyweight, and I said when he first came into the heavyweight division that Usyk is ridiculous. And I personally think if that fight happens, I think Usyk wins. I think he beats Fury, and I think Fury knows how hard it is. Hence why he doesn't want to take it. Oh, if it's that easy, and he says it's a middleweight, take your 100 million and beat him.
AJ and Fury, though, Imran. AJ and Fury are like night and day, aren't they?
No, I agree.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair on it. Derek Chisora gave Usyk problems.
Gave him kittens.
But
he gave Usyk hell.
Otto Wallin gave Fury kittens. Does that mean that Otto Wallin would give Usyk? We can't judge it like that.
No, Fury's a very clever fighter. Basically, to me, Chisora showed what Joshua should have done. Joshua should have pressured him, bullied him, been clever about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you just walk into Usyk and be totally, senseless and just be silly. But Fury's a different animal. I mean, I can't see how. I mean, listen, when you're getting up from Wilder hitting you and shrugging them shots off, what's Usyk going to do? How is he going to hit you?
Yeah,
and he's not going to keep away from. He's not going to keep away from Fury for 12 rounds.
But I don't think Usyk will try and knock out Tyson though. I think he'll just try and outbox him, but I don't think he will.
I don't.
Fury's too long.
He's got too many physical. But I tell you what I will say is this: it needs to happen.
Yeah, it does.
It needs to happen.
It needs to
but
happen.
It's not a. But
a number of reasons. It needs to happen for.
Well, there's only one person who this tarnishes if it don't happen, and that's Tyson Fury.
Yeah. But I think Tyson Fury, he thinks that because it's for undisputed, he thinks it's like a super fight where he deserves $100 million. Yeah, it might be an undisputed fight, but it's not a super fight. It's not like an AJ Fury or you know what I mean. It's not in that level. It's not Pacquiao Mayweather. That's what I'm saying.
I'd prefer to see Usyk v Fury than I would Fury v AJ, if I'm honest. But
I reckon
It'll be a
the
closer
Fury-
fight, although
I do think that Usyk deserves a lot more than what the money was offered to him.
Yeah.
If
He's
that's
already
true.
agreed on his side. Didn't he
Yeah.
already agreed with the
The,
Saudis on his side?
Yeah, I do agree that I think it's more about legacy
that
for
was
Usyk than
Yeah.
money.
allegedly that
definitely is.
that him agreeing with the Saudis thing never actually happened. Apparently, him similar to Fury asked for way more money than they were willing to offer. So both of them agree.
Yeah, look, the
Ones that
Saudis
had
might
agreed
have
any money with the
yeah, the Saudis, the royal family, they're probably the richest family in the world, right? I think they're in the trillions somewhere.
It's
but
not
they're
that they don't
stupid.
have the money; it's they didn't want to pay it.
Yeah, they're not stupid, man. They're not going to pay Fury
The only-
$100 million, and the fight is not a super fight. Like that's a payment that you would pay for like a Pacquiao Mayweather, that type of like level. Fury versus Usyk is not even close to that level. Like not even close. I don't think they've even hit 1 million pay-per-view buys in England.
It's for all the marbles, though, isn't it?
Yeah, either way, it's not great,
So?
is it? If it doesn't happen, I mean,
If it doesn't happen, these two will
It's
get
another-
known. They'll get known more for the fact that they could have made history and been
It's
the first 4-belt undisputed heavyweight champions.
it'll be another fight like Bo and Lewis, won't it?
Yeah, that never happened. Yeah,
That should have, but never did.
Yeah.
You know.
and the problem is, if it
Mayweather
doesn't
that happened too
happen,
late.
guys, if it doesn't happen in December for all the marbles, it'll never happen again because they'll get split, and it'll be
Of course they will, yeah.
4 or 5, 6 years before there's another possibility of an undisputed fight.
And I will say to Imran as well. It's obviously I do think Tyson would win. And do you know what though? I'm a big Tyson fan. I like Tyson, but if Usyk pulled it off, I wouldn't be overly upset.
You know what I would
Yeah.
you know what I would say? I would say if Usyk wins, for me, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time.
Oh,
If
yes.
he beats Tyson Fury,
Yes.
he's probably one of the greatest fighters already.
He'd be
but
like
if-
Holyfield.
And here's the thing, and I know Carl and Andy might not agree with this. If Tyson Fury beats Usyk and Joshua, for me, he is the best British fighter of all time. Better than
Behave
Luke,
yourself. Behave yourself.
Lennox.
in my opinion.
Yes.
Above Lennox Lewis.
I agree.
If he beats
I
those
agree.
two
I
guys,
agree.
he's better than he
If
goes
he
down.
was to beat
great.
AJ and Thingy, yes, because he's beaten the three of the era.
Lennox
Go-
Lewis.
Lennox never beat Bo.
In 10, 15 years' time, he
Never
will
beat
go
Bo,
down.
and he
Yeah.
beat Tyson after Tyson.
Lennox
He will.
Lewis. Lennox
Hold on a
Lewis
minute,
got
hold on a
knocked out
minute.
by-
Well,
Lennox
hold on,
Lewis-
let me just come back on that, Jack. The only reason he never beat Bo was because Bo wouldn't fight him. Bo threw his belt away.
Both
Because
through
he
his
didn't
belt
face
in
him.
bin.
And the only
Yeah.
reason that he didn't fight Tyson in Tyson's pomp is because when Lennox Lewis was mandatory challenger for Tyson's belt, he threw his belt in the trash as well.
Andy,
But
Andy,
Lennox,
I
but Lennox
think
Lewis
Lennox-
got knocked out by B minus fighters twice.
no.
Yeah, and then he
actually
come back and
think-
avenged them twice.
I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
think
true.
Lennox stylistically would beat Fury. I actually think stylistically, I think Lennox might even beat Fury.
I
But
don't-
I'm
I
saying
don't think,
he
though,
will go
Imran.
down a greater fighter than Lennox Lewis. I'll tell you why.
I don't
He
think
beat Vladimir
Imran,
Klitschko when Vladimir Klitschko was 10 years undefeated.
but that's
He
one
beat
fighter.
Wilder
That's one
when
fighter.
Wilder was undefeated and he
Yeah.
was a murderous
Hold on,
puncher.
hold on, though,
He
Imran.
beats
I don't-
Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is an undisputed cruiserweight champion and a unified heavyweight champion.
Holyfield.
One of the greatest fighters, in my opinion, of all
So was
time.
Evander. So was
Good-
Holyfield.
good
and
legacy.
Willis Keaton.
Imran,
No.
are you telling me that this era of heavyweight boxing is better than the 90s era of heavyweight boxing?
Okay. Who did Lennox Lewis beat? Who did
Evander
Lennox
Holyfield.
beat? Let's say. Hang on a minute. He beat Mike Tyson, who was shot to bits.
Evander
That's right.
Holyfield.
Super
Holyfield
shot.
wasn't in it. Holyfield wasn't in his prime when he
Oh,
beat
yes,
Yeah,
he was.
correct. No,
He
he
wasn't.
wasn't.
To be
No, he
fair.
wasn't.
Was
the
he in his
Holyfield one,
absolute
I'll give him.
Nah,
Okay,
Holyfield's
okay,
prime
that's
was
one
early,
fight.
early
That's
He
one
90s.
didn't just beat Holyfield, did he? He gave him a bit of a
Dominated him.
beating,
I mean,
didn't
I mean,
The
let's
Holyfield was it was a very good win. I'll give him that.
Tyson schooled
I'm not
Klitschko.
saying Lennox Lewis wasn't a
Listen,
good fighter, by the way, because he
What
was.
you forgetting? What you forgetting who he beat? And he beat quite convincingly. Razor Ruddock. Razor Ruddock was an absolute killer.
I tell you,
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, he were.
Yeah,
he did beat.
Yeah, he
He
were.
was.
Yeah, he were. You don't
beat
go-
at the
don't
time.
go- you don't
Was
push
he was he ever
Tyson.
a belt holder?
Well, it doesn't matter, does it really? I mean,
I tell
if
you who
you're
he
gonna
did
talk-
beat as lineal, who was lineal champion at the time. He beat Shannon Briggs, who'd just become the lineal heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give
Something
you
that
that.
Fury sets his stole on.
This is how good I think
All
Lennox
on-
Lewis was. I think Lennox Lewis is in the top 5 all-time heavyweights.
Yeah, and I think